Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Askeia. And what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Askeia. Here we go. And welcome! If this is your first time to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. First off, on the left hand side is all of her skills. On the right hand side are all the specials that go with those skills. And then the column CD is the cooldown for each skill. Next to that is charges, which is how many times you can use that skill. And then next to that is hits, which is how many times the skill hits a creature or opponent in the game. And then the column for damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive at the bottom. So first thing I wanted to tell you about is look at the specials on that side, and you see those letters in red. What that means is that it doesn't apply in arena. So when you're in the game and you go into the arena to fight another opponent, those things will not work. But anywhere else in the game and anywhere else you fight, it will be fine. So take a moment to look at everything here. And when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the top 8 PvE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome! What I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest percentage at the bottom. And the skill Fist of True Strength is your highest skill. So the other thing I wanted to point out is, why is there a section colored in green and the rest isn't? And that is because we can only take 8 skills into the world at a time. You can change up what 8 skills that is. It's all up to you, but I do want to point out, which I will in the PvP section, which is coming up next, and that is, always remember that you have your heal skill when you reach level 70, I think it is. You get it. It's either 60 or 70, but it's called Amplify Martial Spirit. So when you get that unlocked and you're fighting creatures that are just a little tough, it never hurts to have that equipped so that you can have more survivability. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PvP skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome! So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, from the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And Fist of True Strength continues to be your highest damaging skill. We have a lot to cover in this section, so first thing is first, and that is, you already know why the section in green is colored that way. From PvE, that's because those are the 8 skills I'm recommending according to the percentage. The other thing is when you're doing PvP, I get asked what are the skills I can use for super armor that I don't have to bother with, am I in here, am I in there? I just want it to work. And those skills, I am pleased to say, are Fist of True Strength, Twisted Collision, and Prime, DK Strike. So those 3 have super armor that works in arena as well as outside the arena, so you are free to enjoy it. I highly would recommend Fist of True Strength because it not only gives you the super armor you're looking for, but has the damage to back it up. So when you work that in, if you're like, well, why do I even need to do that? I will explain on the player card screen of the video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cover how the passive the martial spirit works. I'm going to read this information to you, and I'm going to show you a video of what it looks like when you are when you're using it, and also what skills don't trigger it. So let's get started and read this to you. It says at the bottom, martial spirit, it's your passive. And this is my description, not what you'll see in the game. It's so it can make sense for you. And that is, when your blue MP bar is full or almost full, using any skill except Blast Gauntlet Mastery, that's your basic attack, Shadow Step, or Amplify Martial Spirit, which is your healing skill. Those three will not trigger your passive for roughly, and all the other skills will trigger your passive for roughly 3 seconds. You'll see blue-green smoke with bubbles that appear around your waist to your head to indicate the passive is active. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. I know that reads weird, but when your passive is active, let's look to the right. For Martial Spirit, damage reduction happens and you cannot be grabbed for 1 second. You recover 1.5% HP. Your Martial Spirit has a 4-second cooldown, so even though it seems like it lasts for 3 seconds, then you have 4-second cooldown, so that doesn't seem so bad. HP recovery is not applied in Path of Glory, and before you ask, I know of no skill that applies in Path of Glory to heal you. And if there is, well, that'd be nice to know. Below that is Fortitude. Skill damage is plus 30% on forward guard. If I was to take a guess at what this means, is if you look at your skills above and you see like Death Strike has forward guard and Mountain Punch has forward guard and even Wolf's Frenzy has forward guard and rear super armor, I would imagine that this is what they're talking about. The skill damage is 30% more on those skills that have forward guard. PvP damage taken is minus 30% for 2 seconds when you're unable to take action. So if you're out there fighting with everyone else and somebody, say, stuns you and you're not able to do anything or trips you or whatever, I would imagine that for 2 seconds the damage they're doing to you is 30% less. That's how I understand it. And then there's Evasion and Shadow Step. When you have your passive active, the cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds when you use those skills. So that's how, or that's what happens when your passive is active. So let's go ahead and cut to a video and show you what it looks like when it's happening. Here we go. Okay, so here we are, and I have all the skills loaded up. Not entirely. One is missing. It's adamantine. Otherwise you'd have all the skills that trigger it represented. So if you tap on this skill, for example, and we zoom in, do you see that green and bubbles floating around here? It only lasts for like 3 seconds roughly. So let's do it again, and you don't see it because your MP bar at the bottom is not at 100% yet. See, if you try to trigger it again, still not there. And I have a screenshot of where to look that I'll be showing you, but first thing I want to do is I wanted to just go and see. I was like, wait a minute, why isn't it working? This couldn't be one of those skills that it doesn't work for, but no, it was simply waiting for your MP bar to get to 100. And you see it works for that skill. And let's turn the camera around. I was just checking to see if there were any skills it doesn't work for. And yes, I will go over those as well at the end of this section. So let's go back and check it. That should be about 100%. And there it is. You see it? That's when you know your passive is active. So one thing to show you is on your screen, you tap the arrow here and you scroll down, you see where it says mana or MP. you have 120. The skill says at 100 or greater. So I also wanted to load up Archmage to show you that level difference and CP power makes no difference when it comes to your mana gauge. Mine's 120. Yours is 120. If it's different, you'll have to adjust. But as far as I know, everyone's is 120. So that's why you can trigger it before it's almost full. That's why I said what I said. So what I want to do now that you kind of got the hang of what to look for and how it looks, let's go ahead and show you about the MP bar in more detail. Here we go. So what I've done is I've frozen the screen and I've added some display graphics onto it to show you that my MP bar is a total of 120. Right there, the yellow grid lines indicate the length, and then if you cut that in half, it's 60 MP, and then if you take the remaining to the right of that and you cut that in half, it's 30, and one more time you cut that in half, it's 15. And so if you add it, 60 and 30 is 90, and then if you add the 15, it's 105. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, roughly 100 is here. So this is a rough estimate. I don't have exacts for you, but it'll get you definitely in the right ballpark for how long you have to wait until you could trigger it again. And when I was showing you what to look for the passive, you can get an idea there as well. So let's cut over and show you the skills that don't work for this passive. Here we go. So when you're setting up your skills, you just come here to skills, and those three that I was speaking about are, just scroll down, this one right here, Shadow Step, and continuing down, it is this one, Amplify Martial Spirit, and the last one is right below it, and that is Blast Gauntlet Mastery. So just be aware, and let's go ahead and head back. Here we go. So now that you know how your passive works and what to look for, go ahead and take a look at everything on this screen, and once you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the skill combo slide. Here we go. And welcome. So before I get into what you're looking at, allow me to tell you where you can find it. If you're in gameplay and you bring up the menu and you see the skill icon we tapped on the right hand side, and now you're on the skill screen, and then you look to the middle of the screen and down, you'll see a magnifying glass with the word skill combos to the right of it. Just tap there and you'll bring up a small window that says list of skill combos. Now what I've done is, instead of scrolling up and down through that small window, I have expanded it and put it all on one screen. You can put on another monitor if you have two monitors, or print it out to enjoy when you're on your phone, but this is where you find it. Now let's explain it. On the left hand side in blue are all the skills that Pearl Abyss, these are all skills that Pearl Abyss recommends for you to enjoy to build up combinations. So you would start with the ones on the left hand side in blue, like let's look at the top left corner where it says Fist of True Strength. So you'd start with that, and then the icon for chain is there, and then it's the next skill you choose is the ones in gray. So you have a choice of Death Strike, Adamantine, Dragon Punch, or Wolf's Frenzy. And once you choose one of those, then you look to see, is there a skill that's blue that it will go to. So if we chose Death Strike, then right below it is Death Strike, and you would choose which one you want to do from there. Fist of True Strength, Mountain Punch, Adamantine, or Dragon Punch, or actually Wolf's Frenzy. So out of all of those things, and you connect it to, is there a blue skill with what I just chose, and what are my options in gray to keep the combination going. Now I normally would suggest, oh man, let me give you a 4-hit combo because most of them are 3-hit combos, but looking at this, oh come on. You could have a 5, 6, 7-hit combo easily just looking at it. I think Askeia breaks the record for a lot of options on the skill combo slide because I just haven't seen it this big before. So take a moment to look at this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is called the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome. If this is the first time you're seeing my enhancement slide, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of her skills. On the far right hand side is the branch damage connected to those skills. In the center is 4 columns from left to right. The first one, the second one, and the fourth one, I try to make things or enhancements that benefit you and Askeia. Sorry. The third column is reserved for things that happen to the opponent you're fighting or the creature you're fighting as well. So, take a look. How does this work? What are enhancements? So, if you look at the first skill, like Fist of True Strength, what this means is that if you go to the skill screen in the game and you tap on Fist of True Strength, you'll see to the left of it an icon for it, and then there'll be 3 circles around it. Those are enhancements to this skill particularly. But sometimes you can use silver to unlock it. Other times there'll be a red number that is next to it, and what that means is that you need to improve that skill in level, and all skills go up to level 10. So you need to improve it to a certain number or a certain level to unlock and be able to pay silver to get that enhancement. So, taking our example of Fist of True Strength, and let's just say that the first one, which is the skill now affects 1 additional target, has a red number to it, like say 2. That means the skill needs to get up to level 2, and once it does, you pay the silver, and now every time you use that skill, it will affect 2 targets, not just 1. So that's what enhancements do. It makes the skill better. You're adding things to it when you use it, but you gotta unlock it. Now, where can I find the material I need to improve the skill for unlocking these enhancements? The best advice is if you go into the section of the game called Valor, and you do that, there are gold skill books that you will get, and those help you improve your skills. And the last thing I want to point out is if you look down to where it says Hurricane Kick, and you look over to the second column on the right, it says heal 140 HP per hit. Honestly, I would shoot to unlock that enhancement first, because every time you use Hurricane Kick, all the per hits that it does, you're just healing yourself. So you not only have your potions, you not only have your heal skill, which is amplify, amplify martial spirit, but you have this enhancement connected to your Hurricane Kick that heals you. So you got like 3 heals that can go off to help survivability and help you stay in the fight longer. So Valor, do get to know how that is. Enjoy your books. They're random when you get these books. You don't know what skill it's going to apply to. So just learn all you can and shoot for that first. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the next slide called the player card. Here we go. And welcome. So, this is usually the most popular section of my video because it is everything that you have seen all on one screen. It's like a baseball card called the player card. So there is something new on it, and let me go ahead and just introduce you to everything that is here. At the very top are the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. And to the right of that is something new. It's called immobilization. Anytime an opponent or creature can knock you down, stun you, freeze you, or anything of that nature, you are immobilized, and it takes a while to get back up and get back into the fight. What this is how many immobilizations does Askeia have in her skills. And what I'm showing you is that she has 4 skills that have 2 immobilizations, and the rest of them have 1, and obviously the last 2 don't, because it's her healing skill and her basic attack. So this is really good, but if you're asking me, well, can you elaborate on immobilization? Yeah, sure. Look down below where it says skills and look at Fist of True Strength. Look over to the right where it says hold skill button for max 2 hits, forward guard, rear super armor during skill. Ah, there it is. Stun on hit. So if you use a skill and you got that immobilization in on your opponent to stun them, that's what I mean. And what's great about this is you'll be able to get an extra attack in, maybe 2 extra attacks in, because you are throwing out skills that could possibly immobilize your opponent. And of course, if you look at the top right again, Twisted Collision, Wolf's Frenzy, Hurricane Kick, and Adamantine are the skills that will increase your chances that you immobilize your opponent. So, now that you know how that works, and you already know about the skills, you already know about enhancements, we just talked about it. At the bottom is the legend for what's not applied in Path of Glory and what's not applied in the arena. And for your comfort, there is the definitions of what forward guard and super armor mean, because she has both. So, forward guard. This means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Look at it this way. If you have your opponent in front of you and there's a big shield that's invisible and they're trying to hit you, they're doing barely like 0 damage to you, or hardly or very low damage. That's because of forward guard is active. But if they get to the sides of you or in back of you, then they're going to damage you normally. You got to keep them in front. So that's how that works. Super armor. This is wildly popular and a regular staple for PvP people. And that is, this means incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. So this is why in the PvP section of the video, you want to know what skill can I use to get the jump and get my super armor active and going, and that is Fist of True Strength. It will get your super armor active and going, and you can use the other ones as well to keep it going in your combos so that you have it all the time. But you're not going to get your opponent immobilized if you don't throw out the most immobilization skills possible to increase your chances. So, take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to a gameplay video where we show you what Askeia can do. Here we go. And welcome. So before we get started, let us show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we are at Kron Castle entrance because why not? Their CP is 2,519 and ours is a measly 39,632. She'll be fine. So the way this works is we tap on this shortcut link for Kron Castle entrance, the auto path, and then she fights for about 2-3 minutes, in which time we will say, go to her outro and say thank you. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Askeia. Here we go. it's almost time for us to head into town. Just a few more things. There we go. All right, so while we're loading the town, let me say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the videos on this channel, please like, subscribe, let people know I am always making more videos, and there are always more videos left to do. So what we're doing right now is we're just putting Askeia in a frame and a pose, and we just wanted to check out her waving animation or clapping animation just to see what those things are like. It's tradition. And if I can tap on the button fast enough. There we go. Nice. And let's zoom in. How does she, let's have her wave again. How about clapping? Oh, isn't that cute? Look at my fairy also doing those things too. So once again, thank you very much, and you have a great day. Take care. Bye now.